Good morning, good morning. I have not had coffee, and that might be a good thing. Thank you, Kristen, for that lovely, lengthy introduction. I think we all probably know a lot about me already. I do want to make some acknowledgments really fast to Trish and the sales department and Angie, Amanda, and Megan for an amazing activity this morning with quiz, trade. But the cool thing for me was I was like, yep. I was at Lemon Valley in the classroom doing quiz, trade with Erin and her team. Yep. I was at staff development with Debbie O'Gorman doing quiz, trade at a staff development with the SEL team. And yep, for Christmas, I handed everybody on the leadership team the cards you received today. So I'm thinking, hey, I'm ahead of the game now, right? So all the work that we do comes to fruition, and I believe the work that we do should not just happen in the classrooms. That work has to come from the top too, and we need to own it. And so when the people on the operations side have to participate in quiz, trade, Pete, wherever you are out there. I forgot, I really can't see. I can only read with these glasses. I can't even see you all. It means a lot to the organization because it's about the greater good of all of us. So thank you for that opportunity. Now, am I clicking? Because we didn't talk about this. Am I in charge of? You're in charge of that? Is that a way to make me stay on script? Okay, that's not going to work. Anyway, first of all, I would like to introduce our wonderful, wonderful board members. Today we have here, and I'm going to introduce them. Today's design was to introduce them one by one. Unfortunately, we have two here. The others could not be here, but still we're going to take those time to acknowledge them. And I want to start with our amazing, fabulous board president who we love dearly, and even throughout the time she has been remarkable in her fight. It's no secret that she has breast cancer, but let me tell you something. If you want to see somebody who can fight through adversity, she has been there every step of the way, and I didn't make her get on the roof with me last week because I didn't know how she was feeling, but loves kids and loves the work we do. Dr. Angela Taylor, please stand up. Then I would like to introduce to you Trustee Katie Simon Holland, our Vice President. And let me just tell you, this morning, Katie had a brand new baby girl. I don't remember we talked about the gender. Grandbaby. Yeah, she didn't have the baby. Okay, that would be remarkable. Right, that would be, yeah, you would be on the news. She had a new grandbaby this morning, and she still found time. I mean, fresh, maybe 2 hours ago? Yeah. She still found time to come and spend some of the morning with us. She is just as committed to our success. Vice President. Scott Kelly could not be here with us today, and Dr. Deborah Feinster could not be here with us today, and they are also committed to the work we do. We have Trustee Franco, who is not here with us today, and Trustee Melina Raymond, but they all care about kids and work really hard. I didn't see John Mayer, but where? John! Well, I didn't see you over there. How are you, sir? Stand up. Stand up. I'll tell you what, if there's anybody who can keep the superintendent on their toes, it's John Mayer every day, right? Whether it's a text or a call, but as many of you know John Mayer, he is one of the biggest advocates for students in Washoe County School District and has been an advocate for kids, and he speaks his truth all the time, and we appreciate your long work, and his work is longer than just being a trustee because he's a former principal, so he remembers these meetings, and he still comes to them. So thank you for your service, Mr. Mayor, Trustee Mayor. And next time, don't be hiding over there where I can't see you. Now I would like to take a special welcome, and I don't know where these people are in the room, so when you hear your name, please stand up, to our association presidents in which we work closely with. And I'll tell you, in the last probably 4 or 5 months, I've really have appreciated and benefited from learning each other and getting to know each other and fighting some amazing wild fights in Carson City during this session. So I'll start with WEA Natha Anderson, the president, and Tom Staus, executive director. Okay, Tom, now that we just met this morning and it just clicked on me, you used to work for the district? See, now I know the stories about you. See, I didn't make that connection until I read it from 3 grandbabies, and you didn't have them, did you? You had them last night. Our West President, Melissa Bozen. Our WSPA President, Allison Kendrick. AFTA President, Scott I haven't seen Scott. Scott Barkley is Scott. And there's a beach ball like it's graduation. Where are the administrators taking that beach ball at? Oh, you're all hitting them. Scott, are you here? Scott, what? Stand up. Scott, stand up. Don't be shy, blue eyes. Scott's really fun. Gosh, that might be annoying. Can I get legal or somebody involved? School police, Jason, I'm just saying. And finally, we have our school police president, Ed Kendall. Ed, is Ed not here? No? Okay. And that is why you are throwing a beach ball around. Huh? Hold on, this is my script. I don't understand why people do it. I got this. Hold on. Come on now. And then I would like to take a quick moment to go through leadership, and I'm going to run through this super fast. As you hear your name, please stand up. And I'm going to say that Chief of Staff David Lasik, CFO Tom, and Budget Director Mike are all in Carson City right now working on some issues around the budget where we're working on our money, so they could not be here with us today. But the rest of you, as I call you, please stand up. Kristen McNeil, Deputy Superintendent. Deborah Biasdorf, our new amazing Chief Academic Officer. Pete Etchart, our Chief Operating Officer. Pete, there you go. Ed Gracia over IT, our Chief Information Officer. Byron Green, Chief Student Support Service Officer. Ben Hayes, Chief Accountability Officer. Don Huckabee, Chief Human Resources Officer. Paul Lamarca, his new job title, the Chief Ombudsman and Strategies Officer. Irene Payne, Chief Communications and Engagement Officer. Neil Rombardo, Chief Legal Counsel. Mike Schroeder, who I said was here. Jason Trevino. Jason, is Jason here? Jason. Oh, hey, Jason! And Tracy? And then we are going to, our area superintendents will be featured. Thank you, guys. You can have your seat on a later slide, but these are the people in central office who work every day to make it happen. And I am going to say that, it truly does take a village, because when I walked in this morning, Kristen said, and y'all know how Kristen is, "Where's your lavender?" I'm like, "I didn't see, what memo was that?" She goes, "It was on a memo, blah, 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 blah." Kristen, how she goes. And I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. You should have called me or sent me a text," because I'm fresh off a plane with Big Picture with the innovations crew. They are at Big Picture. And so I walk in. "Lauren, where are you at?" "Lauren, there you go, baby." I said, "Lauren." She goes, "Oh, we take care of you." So she took off her scarf and she gave it to me, right? Because people always take care of me when I forget the little things. And then when I was over there, Dr. Zaki said, "Oh, we brought extra because we know there are some people," and I'm thinking, some people, you're really talking about me, who forget their stuff. So then I got to give Lauren her scarf back, and then I got to get my loaner scarf so I could have on my lavender, and in the near future, I'm going to need a text message, not a memo. Okay, thanks. All right, leadership team, thank you so much for what you do. Next slide. Welcome back. I've been around and I talked to some of you, and I said, "Well, how was the summer?" And here's what's interesting. Most of you had the look that I had on my face, like, I don't remember summer. Actually, I remember the 4th of July, and then everything else was super fast, and I don't know where it went to or how it happened. But honestly, I hope you found time to take time out and spend with your families and friends, because to the core, and you all know I believe this, you can always get another job. You won't get memories back with your families and your friends. And while Kristen says that I worked a lot, and I did, she's right, but I think the whole team worked a lot during the summer, and we did have days off, but we all still worked. But I still took care of myself, because for the long run, if you run yourself down, then you can't do God's work for children, and you need to take time to take care of yourself. So hopefully you had some opportunities to do that. And I also hope you had opportunities to find time to watch a baseball game. So, I got to do a little sports. My girl Prim isn't here to hype me up on my Cowboys, because I always got to hype up the new season. But now I was a diehard Derek Jeter fan, and now I'm a all rise to the Judge fan. People who know sports understand that, right? People who don't, oh well, you'll figure it out. But it is a great season. I think it's a time in our country where we need to enjoy ourselves and remember what this country was made of. There's something about baseball, there's something about football, there's something about how we get together in a sporting event or any event where it doesn't matter the color of your skin, your religion. There's something about your team that can make you a brother and a sister in that moment, and you realize what's truly important to you. So I encourage you this year to take a little time to do that. One of the things that I've learned, too, is that I've decided that every year I get up here, there's always some drama that precedes this moment. Last year there was something, the year before there was something. And in my mind, I don't always understand it. But what I do understand is that no matter what people may perceive, we have so many champions for the district. And I think that's evident by the passage of WC1. I think, yes, that's a big deal. And as people try to put things out in the universe that may be untrue, fake news, or whatever you want to call it, we have to remember our internal purpose and what's right about our kids in our district. Because when you look at the work that you have done for children, and we talk about that a little bit this year, we are the best we've ever been. And that's not because of the board, that's not because of Tracy, that's not because of just the principal as a teacher, it's because of 8,000 employees who get up every morning committed to the work we do for children. So give yourselves a round of applause. So everybody know my moral compass and my focus has always been about kids and what we do for kids. And at the end of the year, I wrote this message to everybody in the staff, and I hope you took a little time to watch the video about your why and the purpose of what you do. And for me, it was a personal story in that moment of time when we were looking at what I wanted to write about for the end of the year, because I had had such a crazy past week. And during that crazy week, this is something that was happened. I was at the gym, and where my workout buddy? Hey, you let him know we're there in the morning, but I've been ditching you a little bit lately because I've been working. But he's at the gym like at 4:30 in the morning with me. And you do this workout, and then like the news flashes up, and there's a poll on where the superintendent lives. And I'm like, really? That's what we're going to talk about? Where I live at? And so we had issues with the legislature. We had all this stuff. And I called home on that Friday, and I was talking to my mom, and I was ranting like nobody's business. I was like, these people are talking about where I live at. Well, first of all, I live where I live, and I've lived there by myself forever, so I don't know why people are interested in that. And then my neighbors are mad because they're like, you live here, so why is that important? And then in telling my mom that, I'm ranting for 30 minutes about the foolishness is what I call it. And when I finished the conversation, she said, oh, so things are going well for you, Tracy. So then I'm annoyed, and like a daddy's only girl will do, I say, let me speak to my daddy. Because if I speak to my daddy going to side with me, and he going to get me fired up, and my mom ignored me. And she said, let me just talk you through a little something. She says, there's always going to be battles to fight, Tracy. There's always going to be people who, in your position, put out fake news. You know the truth. You know where you live at. You know what you've done. You know everything about you more than anybody, and beyond that, you know you could prove it. She says, so tell me, why are you allowing darkness to put out your light? And then I was confused a little bit. And then she said, did you forget about your why? And in that moment, I remembered that every time I had got kicked, that I got back up. But for some reason, the culmination of many kicks and the challenges of not being able to balance a budget and ensure that we don't lay people off, because laying people off is climate, culture, and all that whole piece. I was just down, and I just couldn't get back up. And she said, well, that's really nice, Tracy, but I think you always tell me you got 64,000 reasons to do your job. And here is my mom, way in Las Vegas, who follows everything that happens in Reno, who remembers that. And she said, Tracy, only you and your dad, you and my dad and her can break me. And I was like, ugh, I don't need a life lesson at my age. I'm grown and I'm adult. And she said, they didn't make you, so they can't break you, and you know the truth. So go about your work and do what you're supposed to do for kids. So as we do our work for kids every day, there's going to be fake news. There's going to be rumors. All that stuff's going to float. I am going to now be accustomed to that. But that doesn't break us as an organization. If they kick us 100 times, then we get back up 101 times and do what's right for kids. And when we do what's right for kids, we will see the evidence of that in student achievement, in climate, and culture. And I think when we get to some of that work, you're going to see what amazing looks like in Washoe County School District. Because some amazing things happened this year. Some amazing stories from students happened this year. As we walk through graduations and the beach balls, which I'm okay with the beach ball, just so y'all know, I was just saying that. It wasn't about the beach balls at some of the graduations. It was about how kids got to the finish line. Sparks, middle school student, story to share. The day of graduation, he'd been kicked out of his house. He's living in a car. No reason to get to the finish line. Not one reason, right, Kevin? If I'm that kid, I'm trying to figure out how to eat, how to get some money, how to take care of my very basic needs. But this kid spent all night, and Kevin, I think you bought him a Starbucks, which is cool with me, and I don't care about the wellness policy, sorry, Pete, to give this kid some energy. But he got to the finish line, right? And that's an amazing story. When we talk about what happened at Wooster, I know teachers were up all night getting kids to take tests. And the crazy thing is I could spend probably 30 minutes sharing stories with you about kids who didn't have a reason to finish, but because of the love that you share with them and because you care about each kid that walked through our door, they were successful. And that success will go with them a long ways. Because sometimes you have to remember, we pay it forward. That kid may not acknowledge that today, but somewhere in their life they're going to look back and they're going to say, where was an opportunity for somebody to give to me? And you give to our kids every day. So thank you for that. Given that we have accomplished lots this year and the expertise in this room, you know, I know we're going to reach our goal of 90 by 20. When we started this course by 90 by 20, I remember somebody wrote in the paper, well, she's setting herself up for failure. And, of course, everybody knows my answer is that we have to have high expectations for all kids, blah, 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 blah. We don't start graduation in their senior year. We start graduation pre-KK. So to my elementary principals and to my middle school principals, what you do matters. Today I shared a story with Brad. Brad, where are you at? Somewhere? Brad, right there. Hi, Brad. I was sharing with him during the session. I was at the airport, and a mother came up to me and said, hey, you're the superintendent. I just want you to know about my amazing experience at Pine. And she didn't have to come up and tell me that. And then she said, now my kid's at Galena, Tom, where you're at, and he plays baseball. And she gives me the whole story. And she says, I am so thankful for the school district because I didn't think my kid was going to make it, but because of these amazing schools and what has happened, it has turned them around. My very own neighbor, who Tammy knows is a booster at Spanish Springs, and she is a fireball, talks about the success of her kid who couldn't read in third grade at Taylor. And because of his fourth grade teacher, he got on track. And as he matriculated through, he's on his way to getting a scholarship in California, and she's just amazed. The stories that we don't see about on the front page are the stories we need to share, because those are our truths about what happens in our schools and how people, everyday people, feel about the work that you do. So I am blessed to be here, to be a part of this particular work. Now we're going to take time to show a video. And the video, is this where I ad-lib or, right? We good? Because y'all always do this to me. Video time. Boop. Welcome to the 2017-18 school year at the Washoe County School District. To kick this year off, I want to tell you how thrilled I am to work alongside you as we continue to serve our 64,000 students. Truly, the future of the world will be in the classrooms this year as we shape the minds of future writers, scientists, performers, decision makers, and global citizens. It has been and will continue to be our responsibility to foster curiosity, accountability, work ethic, and a love for learning in the students we work for. Our school district has made great strides in the last few years. Our graduation rates have continued to climb. Our students have more support in the classroom, have more educational options through STEM, signature academies, and online learning, among other programs. Our buildings are being repaired and renovated so students have a safe and healthy environment in which to learn, and new schools are being built so we can continue to serve the growing number of children in our community. Your enthusiasm and commitment to provide a quality education is evident in the work you do every day. I am so excited for our students to come back eager to learn. They are excited too.
I'm most excited about doing the IB program at Worcester. It's been 2 years since I signed up for the program, and junior year is when it finally starts.
I'm excited that we're going to have a new principal.
2.5 fun to see my new teacher.
Soccer, because it's my favorite sport and I can't wait to get on the new team here in McQueen.
I get to interact with new teachers every single year, and I think that is really fun.
Go back to school to play with my friends and learn more math.
I know I'm such a nerd, but I'm excited for my 3 AP classes, and I'm going to play my first sport, and I'll be doing an 8th period this year.
Being able to meet new kids and making new friends.
Taking 2 theater classes. I'm going to take both advanced and tech theater.
And I'm really excited about the basketball program, so I can dunk on some kids. So it's going to get out there.
I'm excited to go back to school to start new sports with new people and getting to meet the new principal. Everybody get a hug this year.
The science, the math, like back in 6th grade, my teachers really pushed me into math and science, and that's why I want to get interested in architecture, civil engineering, and all that stuff.
I'm excited to see new friends.
To see all my friends and go to the dances with them and dance.
To do track again this year, and I'm excited for school in general.
School and math and my new friends.
Meeting new people and my algebra and leadership classes.
Learning new math and teaching kids that don't know what to do and making new friends.
It's great to see what our students are looking forward to as they return to school. Thank you for your dedication you have to these students as you lead them through their educational journeys. Every year, we find more success in our mission to provide every child by name and face to graduation. We have achieved so much. Let's keep up the momentum and have a great school year. That video will be provided for all of you to share at your staff, with your staffs, and Kristen will talk a little bit more about this, but what I want to talk about a little bit about the video is our commitment to not showing videos of other schools and showing videos of us. And so kudos to the communications department, and I know her team isn't here, but Irene, who has worked tirelessly to get information from our children. Are they here? Communications team, please stand up. Jeff. Jeff is the video man. If you can make me look good, I'm just saying. Very appreciative. So one of the things we like to do, if you have great stories, we can't get to every story, send Irene an email, because that's what we want to do. We want to build videos and stories around our school district and our culture to be able to share. So thank all of you who shared those students with us. So sticking to the path. Are we on track, Megan? 1 second? Okay, there we go. So as a district, we are sticking to the path. I know lots of times we get superintendents and they want to change stuff because they go somewhere and something new and exciting. But to me, I think that if we see a return on the investment with the work we built together, we need to continue to stick to that path. And that's just what we are going to do. And through continued hard work and commitment of the leaders, the administrators, we will do this, but we will also look at strengthening our new opportunities. As we continue to do this work, we have to look toward the future and think about opportunities as we look at workforce development. There's discussions about that. When we think about choice for kids, if you're following what's happening in the nation, you know there's a lot of talk about charter schools and choice, and how do we afford all our students choice. I believe that our continued focus around students will be paramount to our success. So, as we look through this and our 4 fundamentals that we've worked on, that I always talk about, the core curriculum, our inclusive practices, our climate engagement, and of course, MTSS and supports for kids, these will continue to aid us in our success. We know that the journey to graduation is not in the 12th grade and it starts pre-K, and lots of work being done around that. We are on a mission to identify the needs of each and every child. We know that children are different and they have different needs, and you work through that when you're in their buildings. But it is so important for us to remind ourselves daily that the work we do impact the lives of kids. The why is always 64,000 kids. Even when we get caught up in a lot of minutia, we have to remind ourselves in our internal compass that the why is around the kids. And as we continue to do this, I am sure we will have continued success. We're focusing on every child every day and to find their individual pathways. We're customizing the learning environment to meet a wide range of needs of our diverse learners, leveraging learning opportunities for every student, no matter their challenge, and building equitable education environments. And one of the things I want to quickly talk about is the high school visits last year. And it was funny one day, Mark McGuire, we were visiting Tom and Galena, and he said, Tracy, I have to tell you, I was against this little visit things you were doing in high school because they never turn out well, and it turns out as somebody's getting picked on or whatever. I'm like, Mark, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not what my visits are about. All the high school principals, can you just stand for 1 second, because I think this is something I need to share with you that's very important. Stand. If you're in high school, don't make me call you out. Y'all know I'm crazy. Yeah. I want to thank each of you for allowing me to come in your buildings, because coming in your buildings allowed us to learn about your school culture and your kids. And when we were in your buildings, we didn't say, why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing that? We said, tell us what you're doing so we can support you. And then we were able to share those stories. And that will be a commitment that we continue again, not just doing that work, but coming in and doing the work that we did with your freshmen, and we appreciate that opportunity, and thank you very much. Lauren, can you just stand up, because it's driving me crazy. I know you're an area superintendent now, girl, but stand up real fast, because we were visiting Hug, and you gave a presentation. The remarkable piece about this is I look at each one of you, and I think about the discussions in your building. They are so diverse, and they are so based on your school community, and that is what it should be. The leader of the building and that school team should make those decisions. So thank you so much for that work you do. And we are so excited to talk about the results, but Ben said I can't say one word, so I won't say any words, so you can have your seats. I'm not allowed to talk about the results yet. But this commitment to the high schools this year will transcend down to the middle schools. And it's not a 30-minute visit. These are really in-depth visits, so we're very thoughtful about that, and we want you to be thoughtful about that. So last year, we hit every high school. This year, the plan will be to hit every middle school and add on some of the feeder elementary schools, and what we don't finish will continue. But the goal is to get back into every school. There's no legislative session. There's no WC1, so there should be plenty enough time for us to do a deeper dive in the buildings and learn about each one of your cultures. Our goal, 90 by 20. Thanks to the programs and consistencies we've put in place, 6 of our high schools reached the goal last year, with 3,608 students crossing the graduation stage in 2016. Half of those students earned honors and advanced diplomas. In the coming weeks, where's Ben at? Ben, where are you at? I gotta see you, so I don't. Oh, Ben, I gotta see Ben, so I don't say the wrong thing, because Ben doesn't like when I say stuff I'm not allowed to say. See, I have other bosses besides the board. This year, we're actually going to record a graduation rate that's over 80%. We're not going to get into details about that, but I'll tell you, we're going to have more schools that hit 90%. And that's all I can say, because Ben's like, then it's a slippery slope and you're getting to tell stuff. But think about what that says about our organization. 3 years ago, we were talking about 90 by 20. 2 years later, we're going to be over 80%. And where will we be when we continue to do this work for our kids? And this is the work that you do every day in your buildings with your teachers, the work that we do in central office, the support, the coaches, everybody in the organization. It's going to be a remarkable time when we talk about that graduation rate. So give yourselves another round of applause, because that is directly related to the work that you do. Thanks, Ben. Building equity. There are many exciting things to celebrate. We talk about repairing buildings and what's going on. So I'm not going to harp on this. You know the story, the passage, the money, what we needed. It's important for you to know that our goal is to build equity throughout the district. We are investing in our schools, and of course you can see those real times. We're looking at our old classrooms and alleviating overcrowding, and we're making places a better place to teach. But what I want to do is, next slide please, WCBuildings.com. I don't know if you have watched any of these, but one of my commitments is that during the WC1 campaign, people said, oh, every time the district gets the money, they don't do what they're supposed to do. So our dedication back to the community for their commitment to us to take care of our children is our commitment to them to show the work in progress. And in the past week and a half, I think I was on the rooftop of Bird Eye, a bobcat at Nancy Gomes, carpet at McQueen, all kind of things happening. But here's the richness of the story. It's not that you go visit the school, right, and see the work. The richness in the story happens when you start talking to the contractors and the workers. And what amazed me the most is every time I'm on the roof, I'm talking to the contractor, and he says, yes, my wife works at Diedrichson, and she's a FAFSA, and this is important. So it is beyond just a school district. It is a community together, and it is so powerful when you're talking to these people, and they're excited about the work, when they actually are in the buildings and say, oh, we see what you're talking about, and this is going to be great for kids. So I encourage you to go to WCSDbuildings.com. We are the front line of the community. People will ask you questions. This is the greatest resource to show people the work, show people how we're spending the money. Go look at the pictures. It will be updated as we go. It's cool. We have a kid from Damani who's doing the drone work for some of the stuff. We had a great town hall meeting in Sun Valley, and if you haven't seen that video, I know they're going to put it online, and an amazing video, but our community deserves to know what we're doing, and you need to know the knowledge, so anytime you can share this website with them and spread the facts, the better off we'll be about transparency. And if you don't know, just refer them to communications. But I think this is going to speak mounds about our transparency and what we do with the money. And so the videos are amazing, and I do want to thank Trustee and Vice President Taylor, who came out to a school, came out to Verdi, and I know she was not, she'd been through some treatments, which I'm sorry if I said it, and I shouldn't have said it, and she was, she's tired. Sometimes she's just tired, right? But she came out there with so much energy, and I was like, okay, maybe it was me who had the treatment, because you need to slow down, girl. But just thinking about how she engages with the community around building, and all our trustees are dedicated to this. I know Trustee Simon Holland was speaking to people at Sun Valley, so we're all dedicated to this, and I need you to be dedicated to sharing this site also. So let's talk about funding. So the DSA, the board adopted the budget. As you know, we adopted a budget. We didn't lay people off. There's some opportunities for grants, and I'm not going to read this slide to you. Some interesting things happened this legislative session. I don't need to tell you. It gets complicated with laws and how they're interpreted. But we are continuing a fight to get our bridge funding from the funding that we didn't receive because of a hiccup. And that's why the boys are down there discussing right now, because we need that bridge money. If we don't get that bridge money, then we have to look at further, deeper cuts. Deeper cuts impact kids at some points, so we need them to be successful. Some of our key policy bills, AB7, the ESSA compliance, end of course exam to medium stakes, and consideration of the new diploma types with the stamps on them, the seals of literacy, biliteracy, and the seals of skills trade or in career technical education. So some of that, did you catch up? I'm sorry. You want me to slow down? There you go. AB 320, Nevada's Educator Performance Framework. I think one of the big things about 320 we have to talk about is slow develop with administrators, and it allows the NDE to audit for validity of changes, minimally effective to developing. We'll be working with our schools around that. It also reduces the frequency of evals for highly effective teacher, which we actually probably like, right? If the teacher's doing their job and they're highly effective, less evals. AB 64, Special Education Alternate Route to a Standard Diploma. Framework and work being done around that. SB 225 and AB 292, Safe and Respectful Learning. Minimal administrative changes around notifications, and we continue to work around that with our legislatures. Finally, am I on my final slide? Okay, thank you. We are WCSD. We started this work and we talked about our district as a whole, from bus drivers to custodians, teachers, counselors, nurses, nutrition services, school police, support staff, many, many more. I believe it takes a dedicated team of people working together to effectively meet the needs of all our students. One of the things I tried to do in the Friday Minute was expand from teacher and the workspace and administrator and ride the bus, learn to talk to bus drivers. Food service will be next. Ride with school police and understand what goes on in accounting, to understand all the roles in our different organizations. Part of the piece next year is as we continue to deliver around schools, we're going to add operations and what's happening with that piece as it relates to building, but as it relates to people who do jobs in central office that I didn't even know there was rooms back there. There's a lot of people doing a good work, and we need to share that. We'll continue to work as a team to sharing ideas, thinking creatively, bringing together varying perspectives, knowledge, and talents in order to achieve our common goal. Each of us truly makes a difference in the lives of kids. Your voice matters. Your voice matters in your building. Your voice matters in the district. It matters in our community. This year, I'm launching a series of employee meetings starting with our first-year teachers. And I had the pleasure of spending an afternoon with one of our first-year teachers at Innovations, and he is so excited to join the Washoe County School District. So I'm super excited to join our first-year teachers so that I get a fuller understanding of their success and their challenges, and then I'm going to go back and circle around and talk to our first-year teachers who are now is their second year to see how it went. But at the end of the day, the work we do is about kids. I can get up here and speak to you about everything in the world, but at the end of the day, it gets down to 64,000 kids, and we have to advocate for, we have to fight for, we have to do the right thing for. And speaking of students, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Taylor. I was going to introduce her. It was coming. One of our great students in Washoe County School District who is the newly Alex Chacon, come up real fast. Not real fast. You can go slow if you want to, Alex. We talk about student voice, and when I started this as the superintendent, one of the things I was committed to was, come closer, I'm not going to bite. I might tell a secret you have, but I'm not going to bite. Student voice, hearing from our kids. We can tell a story, but the power in the story is when the person who owns the story tells it. So when we get kids to tell us stories, when I'm on the bus and the third grader is telling me about his experience with multiplication and how he loves his teacher and how he's reading at grade level, it's way different from when the teacher is telling that a story. When I was in that third grader, I was on the bus with Jonna O'Coin. Is Jonna in here somewhere? Where are you at? Hey, your baby. Amazing. But when I go into schools, I talk to kids. I want to know their stories. And it's not if they're mad at their teacher or if they don't like something. You just got to meet kids where they are, and that's what we do every day. So the reason we put kids up here is so we can hear our kids' story, so we know the value in the work we do. Now, Alex and I kind of didn't follow the rules because when we did quiz, trade, we actually did each other and we sat at the same table. Sorry, Angie, but it just kind of worked out that way. But one of the questions that I had was, if you could go back in time to a period in history, where would you go, right? And so I'm looking at her thinking, okay, you're barely 18. Where are you going to go, to MC Hammer, right? No. She says, I would like to go back to the Great Depression. I was like, huh? Like, okay. But then she, in like 5 seconds, said, there's rich history around the country in the Great Depression, and then she tied in the Roaring '20s because she talked about how it would be fun. And when I looked at her, I said, I could see you as one of those little Roaring '20s girls hopping around doing your dance. But today is a special day for Alex. Today is Alex's birthday. So please join me in my musically talented self and sing happy birthday to Alex. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alex. Happy birthday to you.